Hey guys, Sam here at NA Studios. I've just finished a vocal recording session. You can see the microphone and stuff just there, just next to those piles of crap. And I had some noise in the studio. Well, not in the studio, outside the studio. I had some aeroplanes going by. There seems to be more and more at the moment. And the studio is soundproof to an extent, but if you get an aeroplane flying over the top, it's very difficult to actually kind of combat that without using specialised tools. Fortunately for me, I've got Izotope RX 9, the full bundle, love it, can't fault it, it's absolutely fantastic. But I happened to notice that Waves brought out their VX a little while ago, and I wanted to compare the two, but I wanted to do it, I didn't want to prepare too much. I wanted to just do it kind of off the cuff and a real world example of what it would be like if you just throw these two plugins on and just seeing what happens on the kind of default settings. So that's what I'm going to do first off, and then we're going to dive in a little bit more. So if you're looking for a complete product review of either RX or VX, just click off this now. That's not what it is. This is a real world, just quick example of what you can do with them straight off the bat, and then look into them a little bit more depth and see how in depth you can get really. Let's just check it out. Right, so I've got a piece of audio here that I've just duplicated across the two. The top one is going to be RX, the bottom one is going to be VX. Let's just hear exactly what we've got. This is me speaking into the microphone that I was recording through, and let's just see how it sounds with nothing on there. I'm recording this voice through a condenser microphone. This is on cardioid pickup pattern, just coming from the front, hopefully just picking up my voice. I've got a heater on in the background as well. It's just on my knee and it's more or less pointing directly up at the microphone. And I'm going to see if RX or VX can cope with this the best. I think I've explained it pretty well there. I'm just going to go for RX and then go for VX and see what we can do. Let's just jump in. So first one then, let's go to RX. Let's go voice denoise. Let's have that one on, and then on VX, let's go to clarity and just pop that on. Okay, I'm going to go to clarity first. I kind of know what RX is like. I know how good it is, and I know what it can do. So I'm interested to take a look at VX. I've downloaded this about 8 minutes ago. I've not tried it. I've not done anything with it. So this is about as fresh as you can possibly be to a plugin. Let's take a look. So I'm just going to solo this channel then, or more accurately, mute the other one. Let's just put our markers around that section and see what we can do. So ambience, voice, all right, turn that up, you get more of the voice, turn that down, you get more of the ambience. Okay, cool. I'm recording this voice through a condenser microphone. This is on cardioid pickup pattern, just coming from the front, hopefully just picking up my voice. I've got a heater on in the background as well. It's just on my knee and it's more or less pointing directly up at the microphone. And I'm going to see if RX or VX can cope with this the best. Okay, it's got rid of that noise. It's been pretty detrimental to my voice though. So let's go advanced controls. Let's see if we can get... Okay, so we've got low end, low mids, highs. Let's see if we can bring back some more of those highs. So this is already at 100. So, okay, down the bottom, drag to adjust the process amount. So this is going to, presumably, if I bring this down, it's going to be processing the top end a bit more. Let's see if it does. I'm recording this voice through a condenser microphone. This is on cardioid pickup pattern, just coming from the front, hopefully just picking up my voice. I've got a heater on in the background as well. It's just on my knee and it's more or less pointing directly up at the microphone. And I'm going to see if RX or VX. Still kind of killing my voice. If I bring this all the way down, then I get a lot more noise coming in. I'm recording this voice through a condenser microphone. This is on cardioid pickup pattern, just coming from the front. So this to me sounds a bit more like it's kind of gating it a little bit. It's obviously doing all that neural naughtiness, the really clever stuff that I don't understand. It's doing that, but it's getting rid of the noise completely before the voice starts. But then when the voice is there, you've kind of got a bit of an undercurrent of the noise. Let's take another listen. I'm going to try and move this band a little bit lower because I think it's still not getting the clarity in my voice that was there originally. I'm recording this voice through a condenser microphone. This is on cardioid pickup pattern, just coming from the front, hopefully just picking up my voice. I've got a heater on in the background as well. You can hear that just where it said I've got a heater on. Let's listen to that again. I've got a heater on in the again. The front, hopefully just picking up my voice. I've got a heater on in the background as well. It's just on my knee and it's... Yeah, so that's basically all the way up. And I've tailored the high end a little bit. Okay. It's getting rid of like basically all the noise, save for a little bit kind of surrounding the voice, which is to be expected. That's quite good though. but it's affecting the voice quite considerably. Before I go into that anymore, I'm going to take a look at RX and try and sort of duplicate those settings and see if I can get something straight off the bat. So I've got this on adaptive mode, so that means it's just going to kind of automatically work out where the noise is and try and combat it. And then we've got a few different filter types we can have here. Let's go surgical, we want to really go to town on this. And dialogue, threshold and reduction. So we've got two kind of controls here, whereas VX just has the one. So maybe a bit more control, maybe a bit too much control. Let's just find out. So this is just straight off the bat, this is just with the settings that it gives us. I'm recording this voice through a condenser microphone. This is on cardioid pickup pattern, just coming from the front, hopefully just picking up my voice. I've got a heater on in the background as well. It's just on my knee and it's more or less pointing directly up at the microphone. Okay, that's removing about as much noise as VX did, but it's not actually killing my voice as much to me. Let's just bypass it and then bring it back in and just hear that for sure. I'm recording this voice through a condenser microphone. This is on cardioid pickup pattern, just coming from the front, hopefully. Okay, so it's maybe killing the top end just a touch. So let's take it off adaptive mode. Now, the thing that I know about RX is that it has a few different ways you can do it. So it's got that adaptive mode, but you can also tell it to learn the sound of the noise, which I don't think VX has got. Let me just double check that before I talk a load of nonsense. Let's see. Can you do that? Reflection, sensitivity, normal. I don't think you can actually go into like a learn mode here. Am I talking nonsense? No, you can't. Okay. That's interesting. So it's kind of relying on the fact that it knows better than you do, if that makes sense. It's relying on the fact that its engine is going to be able to pick it up perfectly. Huh. Okay, so that's going to work in normal situations if you've just got noise and I want to get rid of it. But what if you've got some noise? I don't know. If you've got some noise you want to get rid of, but then some noise that you don't want to get rid of. If you really want to get rid of some low-end stuff, but you need to keep the ambience of some high-end stuff, maybe, it's not going to work quite as well. Back to RX. Let's see what it can do. So let's bring some of that top end back. So adaptive mode off. Let's see if we can bring this down and just get a bit more of the voice back. I'm recording this voice through a condenser microphone. This is on cardioid pickup pattern, just coming from the front, hopefully just picking up my voice. I've got a heater on in the background as well. It's just on my knee and it's more or less pointing directly up at the microphone. And I'm going to see if RX or... Okay, to me, that's not getting rid of any of like the artifacts in my voice. It's not actually, it's kind of transparent. It's just getting rid of all the noise and not actually being detrimental to my voice at all. That's interesting. So I tell you what, let's chop these up a little bit. Let's just do this and then we'll kind of mute every other one so that we're just going from one to the other. So if I bring this in, let's mute that one. So we're going to have RX first, mute, 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 mute. So we're going to be going RX first, then VX, vice versa, and just keep going back between them. Let's see which one is best. I'm recording this voice through a condenser microphone. This is on cardioid pickup pattern, just coming from the front, hopefully just picking up my voice. I've got a heater on in the background as well. It's just on my knee and it's more or less pointing directly up at the microphone. And I'm going to see if RX or VX can cope with this the best. There's not much in it. I think I could notice I'm not noticing a massive amount of difference in the amount of noise it's reducing. I think that it's actually getting rid of the noise kind of equally as well. I don't think either of them was really quicker to adjust and to get rid of the noise. They seemed about the same to me. Let's just make sure we can listen to this in a real life situation. Let's now go for RX in the learn mode, because if I take loop off, I've got a nice bit of noise at the beginning here that I think RX is going to hear, and it's going to kind of learn that really nicely. So let's go to voice denoiser again. Let's go to learn, and then let's just play it that bit. Okay, so it's done it. It's learnt it. Let's now take a listen. Right, so if it's doing this, then we need to go in and adjust the threshold and the reduction. There it goes. I'm recording this voice through a condenser microphone. This is on cardioid pickup pattern, just coming from the front, hopefully just picking up my voice. I've got a heater on in the background as well. It's just cool. So as I bring the threshold down, it really brings back a load of that noise. But strangely, well, not strangely, I guess that kind of supports what I was saying. The voice doesn't change as I bring the threshold down, which means that as I bring the threshold down, it's taken away more, so you'd expect the voice to be more natural. As I bring it up, the voice stays the same, so it's not really affecting the voice. So this is really good for that. This doesn't affect the voice anywhere near as much. Let's dig in further.
It's just on my knee, and it's more or less pointing directly up at the microphone.
Okay, at that point, we start to lose some of the clarity in the voice. So we can bring down this high end, so it's not affecting the high end as much.
Phone, and I'm going to see if RX...
Oh, amazing. That's wicked. Let me turn that loop on again.
I'm recording this voice through a condenser microphone. This is on cardioid pickup pattern, just coming from the front, hopefully just picking up my voice. I've got a heater on in the background as well. It's just on my knee, and it's more or less pointing directly up at the microphone.
Okay, when the reduction is at 20 maximum, I can start to hear a little bit of that, the artifacts kind of coming in there.
I'm recording this voice through a condenser microphone. This is on cardioid pickup pattern, just coming from the front, hopefully just picking up my voice. I've got a heater on in the background.
Can you hear that? That's my computer going crazy. Hang on a minute, I'm going to be really quiet and then turn the gain up on this mic really loud. That's because I'm using some really CPU intensive plugins. Fortunately, I've got a plugin that can get rid of that sound. So let's hear it again, and then let's do an on and off and just see which one works the best. Let's do RX and then let's do VX. Why not? It's not going to have a voice on it, but let's see if it gets rid of it. How does that sound? I don't know. You're going to have to tell me in the comments because I'm doing this live, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on. I'd imagine both of them got rid of it pretty well. But this learn section on the RX plugin, this is where you can go really deep, isn't it? I'm frustrated that VX, right, Clarity VX, this should have like a learn thing on it. Am I just missing it? I'm kind of looking at this with fresh eyes. So this is, not only is it a test of the two plugins, the sound, but it's a test of how easy are they to use? How easy are they to just throw on and then work? Well, Clarity works really well just to shove it on and then go voice. I want loads of voice and nothing else. But it is really affecting that voice. It's really getting rid of a load of the top end, which RX wasn't really doing, but equally it wasn't getting rid of as much of a noise, and you had to kind of tailor it. That's interesting. Okay, so now I've kind of tailored this a little bit more. Let's have a final comparison. Let's hear the difference. Now I've gone a little bit more in depth.
I'm recording this voice through a condenser microphone. This is on cardioid pickup pattern, just coming from the front, hopefully just picking up my voice. I've got a heater on in the background as well. It's just on my knee, and it's more or less pointing directly up at the microphone. And I'm going to see if RX or VX can cope with this the best.
What do you reckon? Which do you like best? I do like the Waves one. It's cool. It's not got rid of as much of that noise though, and I think that would take a bit more tailoring, a little bit more kind of going crazy with all the controls, which I don't particularly want to do. I want to just throw one on and it just happen. Like when I'm editing stuff in Premiere, I just kind of want to throw something on and it happen. Admittedly, if you've got a preset, then you'll be able to do it, but I think for the amount of noise that it gets rid of, I think that Clarity VX does extremely well. However, it is kind of detrimental to the voice in this scenario. I'm sure other people have got fantastic results out of it. And I've got fantastic results out of it, but not quite as fantastic, I think, as RX. I don't know. In case you haven't guessed, I'm trying to be as impartial as possible, and I'm not going to tell you which one I like best. But I think they're both fantastic. I think they both do something really good. I think straight off the bat, initial kind of settings, RX does take away from the voice a bit, but then as you adjust the settings, you can make it so it's completely invisible. Straight off the bat, Clarity, it does annihilate the voice, but once you bring down that high end, the threshold, the amount of high end is taken off, then it is kind of invisible, but it doesn't get rid of as much of the noise. Which do you reckon? I'm not going to tell you which I reckon. Chuck it down in the comments, and I'll have a little read, and then, yeah, we can have an argument about it. Looking forward to that. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to try and test these out a little bit more on some more kind of scenarios, see if there's some outside stuff I can do, and just see which is the fastest to use and which you can kind of manipulate the most and get the best sound out of. Cheers for watching. I'll see you again soon. Take care.